Okay, good day everyone. So here is the video discussion of our Module 3, week number 1 or simply pang third quarter na natin to. So this video will serve as a guide para matulungan kayo mag-answer ng mga learning tasks. Okay, our topic for today is what we call as matter. So first, let's define matter. So, pag sinabi nating matter, it is anything that occupies space and has mass. So, anything or na object na makita natin or even us na meron tayong space tapos meron tayong mass will be considered as matter. So, here are the few examples of matter that I have here. So, for example is yung ating mga plants. So, they are classified as matter. Next is yung ating mga animals, yung ating mga insects, they also classified as matter kasi meron silang nag-occupy sila ng space, then they also have their mass. Then we humans, so we are also classified as a matter. Next. So we have here the states of matter in which although tinuro na siya nung kayo ay elementary, so which is yung basic yung tinuro sa inyo, the first 3-1. So, familiar naman kayo with this one, with solid. Then, we have here liquid. Then, gas. So, these are the states of matter which is familiar kayo. Kasi nga tinuro na siya sa atin before. So, here, nadagdagan na siya. So, we have what we called as plasma. So, yung mga nasa gilid na pictures, so that is the example ng ating solid, liquid, and gas. Then, pag sinabi nating plasma, so we have this example. Then, the fifth one is the Bose-Einstein condensate or yung Beck na tinatawag natin. And the sixth state of matter is what we called as the fermionic condensate. So, isa-isahin natin sila up to their properties and the movement of their particles. So, that is this is the example of the Bose-Einstein condensate or yung Beck na tinatawag natin. Okay, first one, so solid, which is, alam ko naman, familiar kayo with this one. Pag sinabi nating solid, they have a definite shape. May sarili siyang shape. Meron siyang definite volume. Pag sinukat natin yung volume niya, may makukuha tayo. Then, they have its mass. Then, they also take up space. So, this is the example of a solid. For example, is this one, yung ating apple. So, meron siyang sariling shape, meron siyang volume, then, pwede natin din i-take ang kanyang mass. Then, it also take up space. Okay, here are the examples of solids aside dun sa apple. So, example is yung ating mga vehicle. So, that is an example also of solid. They have a space, definite shape, volume. Then, yung ating animals. So, they are also classified as solids. Okay, next. So, pertaining with the particles of solids. So here is the example ng ating particles ng solid. So, they are tightly packed together. So, as you observe dito sa ating figure, so, dikit-dikit yung kanyang molecules. So, that's why little energy lang kasi nga hindi siya masyado makapag-release ng energy dahil nga masyado silang dikit-dikit. Then, they can only vibrate in place kasi they are, because of the reason na they are tightly packed, masyadong dikit, hindi sila masyadong makagalaw. Kaya nga nagkakaroon ng ating solids, meron silang definite shape. Next, na ating state of matter is what we call as liquids. So, wala siyang definite shape, hindi siya katulad ni solid. Then, ang shape niya lang is based doon sa shape ng ating container. But then, it have a definite volume. Liquids also have mass. Then, it also take up space. So, this is the example of ating liquid. So, we have here this one, yung ating water. So, examples of liquids natin. So, that one, yung ating water. Then, we have here yung milk. So, example din siya ng liquids. Then, yung water dun sa swamp. Okay, next. Pertaining with the particles, kung si solids ay masyado siyang tightly packed, masyado siyang dikit-dikit, kay liquids naman is they are loosely packed. Medyo nakakagalaw-galaw na yung kanyang mga molecules. So, as you observe on the figure, they can move. So, that's why they have a medium energy levels. Medyo mas mataas yung energy level niya compare kay solids. Then, particles flow around each other. So, as you observe, they can move. Next is gases. So, pang third na tayo. Pag sinabi natin gases, so wala siyang definite shape. Then, they expand to fill all the spaces in the container. If we're going to put those gases in a container, if i-fill niya lang yung space na yon. Then, wala din siyang definite volume. But then, meron siyang mass. So, meron siyang mass, nag-occupy siya ng space. So, that's why it is also classified as matter. So, this is the example of ating gas, yung steam na nilalabas ng ating Mayon volcano or ng ating mga volcanoes. So, that is an example of gases. So, here are also the other examples of gases that we have. So, yung gases dun that can be found dun sa ating balloons, just like in this movie, which is yung up. So, next is the steam from a coffee. Then, yung air na sinicirculate ng ating electric fan. So, ang electric fan, hindi siya nagre-release ng air. So, sinicirculate niya lang yung air dun sa paligid. Okay, let's proceed with the particles of gases. Si solid, they are tightly packed. Masyado siyang dikit-dikit. Pagdating naman kay liquids is nakakagalaw na siya, but then medium energy level lang. Pagdating naman kay gases, they can move freely. They are widely separated, so that's why mas maraming energy yung makikita mo or can be generate from gases. So, as shown in the figure, so makikita nyo, they can move freely. Ating mga gases. Okay, next is the plasma, the fourth state. So, pag sinabi naman natin na plasma, so the most common form of matter in the universe, wala siyang definite shape, walang definite volume. So, bakit nga ba in a whole universe na yung ating category about kay plasma? Simply, ito kasi yung mga examples sa kanya. Yung ating mga lightning, yung mga kidlat, or simply, pag sinabi kasing plasma, they possess high energy level. So, ay high temperature. Sobrang taas ng temperature ng ating mga plasma. Katulad nung sa ating lightning, sa kidlat. Then, sun. So, that is an example of plasma. Then, we have here the Aurora Borealis. Aurora Borealis, ito yung nakita nyo dun sa movie ng True Night and Day. So, that one. So, that is the example of ating plasma. Next is the particles. Pertaining the particles, they are electrically charged. Then, they have extremely high energy levels. So, high energy levels kasi nga masyadong mataas na yung temperature and then pertaining with the charges. So, ito yung movement or ito yung itsura ng particles ng plasma natin. So, we have here the positive or the protons and electrons in which they possess great amount. So, that's why kaya niyang mag-release ng mas mataas na energy and also that is proportion with the temperature. Next is the Bose-Einstein condensate. Bose-Einstein condensate naman ay ka-opposite ni plasma, in which it occurs in ultra low temperature. Kung si plasma ay sobrang taas ng temperature, sobrang init, yung mga examples niya, ang Bose-Einstein condensate naman ay sobrang mababa. Then, gaseous superfluid phase formed by atoms cooled to temperature very near to absolute zero. So, here is the example of ating Bose-Einstein condensate in which pinapakita dito yung kanyang movement ng particles. Okay, that one. So, as I remember, before there is a parang an article telling na you must not joke with the scientists because kaya kasi nila i-manipulate yung Bose-Einstein condensate pertaining sa magic. Sa magic kasi, for example, yung nilalaro na yung may tatlong cup and then huhulaan mo kung nasaan doon yung, for example, yung stone nakalagay doon sa first cup. Tapos, second cup, then third, yung pinapalit-palit. So, if ang nag-magic sa inyo ng ganon is a scientist, and he has a knowledge about his Bose-Einstein condensate, kaya niyang i-manipulate yung temperature nun. Kaya niyang mapakita, for example, tama naman yung hula mo na sa cup number 1 yung stone, since na ma-manipulate niya yung Bose-Einstein condensate, kaya niya yung i-evaporate. Or kaya niyang maliin yung answer mo, which is correct. But then, this Bose-Einstein condensate is, until now, they continue their study with this one kasi nga, kung saan mas maia-apply yung Bose-Einstein condensate natin. So, hiniwalay siya ng state of matter kasi nga hindi siya ma-classify as solid, liquid, or gases because of its temperature na opposite ni plasma. Then, the last one is the fermionic condensate. Cloud potassium atoms force into a state where they behave strangely. So, to further understand this fermionic condensate, so ganito yung idea niya. So, if you have watched this K-drama, which is I Am Not a Robot, so, meron sila ditong naging example in which ganon yung properties ng ating fermionic condensate. So, to kasing K-drama na to is merong mad scientist in which mahilig siyang mag-invent ng mga kung ano-anong bagay. So, meron silang, this one. Ito yung nandun sa K-drama, the heart ball. Properties kasi ng heart ball na yan, kapag hinawakan mo yung para kasi siyang lamp, na kapag hinawakan mo yung lamp, yung heart ball, iilaw din yung kabila. So, ang thing naman dito sa heart ball na to is, for example, yung isang heart ball ay nandito sa Rosario. Tapos yung isang heart ball is nasa Tagaytay. So, kunyari, pinailaw mo dito yung heart ball. So, ang tendency nun, pag hinawakan mo siya, iilaw din yung kapartner niya na heart ball na nasa Tagaytay. So, ganun yung properties ng ating fermionic condensate. They are connected with each other kahit malayo yung distance niya. Kaya nga, from its definition, they behave strangely, itong ating fermionic condensate. Okay, so those are the states of matter that we have. So, we have the solid, liquid, gas, plasma, Bose-Einstein condensate, then we have the fermionic condensate. Okay, let's proceed with this one, the phase change, in which it is just a recap kasi nga is familiar naman kayo with this one. So, recap lang tayo. For example, we have here melting. Melting is solid to liquid. Freezing, liquid to solid. Evaporation, liquid to gas. condensation gas to liquid, sublimation solid to gas, then deposition gas to solid. Okay. So, pag sinabi nating melting, so physical process by which a solid magta-turn into liquid or simply there is a presence of heat. Yung heat is mag-e-enter doon sa solid or katulad dito sa yellow. Yung heat ay mag-e-enter doon sa particles ng ating yellow. So, that's why magta-turn siya into water. So, there is a presence of heat na tinatawag. Pag naman freezing, opposite of melting, syempre, there is an absence of heat. So, that's why from liquid, magta-turn into solid. So, example natin is ito, yung mga ice cream. The next is the evaporation, liquid to gas. So, heat goes into the liquid as it vaporizes. So, another example also of evaporation is kapag yung naglalaba, diba? Pag naglalaba, isasampay mo siya. So, diba, natutuyo. Ibig sabihin, yung water doon sa damit is nag-evaporate. Kaya natuyo yung damit. So, evaporation is also part of water cycle in which mag-evaporate yung bodies of water, nagkakaroon siya ng evaporation process. Pag sobrang init. Kaya nga, diba, kapag sobrang init, what will happen is, the next thing is, uulan. Hindi man sa atin, pero syempre, clouds are moving, nadadala nila yung evaporated gases dun sa other places. Next is condensation. Pag condensation, yung gas is magta-turn into liquid. So, heat leaves the gas at is condensed. So, katulad dito sa glass, 'di ba, kapag meron tayong glass ng water na malamig, kunyari ngayon, bumili ka ngayon ng halo-halo dyan sa labas. So, mapapansin mo, yung labas ng baso mo is para siyang nagpapawis, nagtutubig. Hindi naman tumatapon yung binili mo. So, ibig sabihin, there is a process ng condensation. Yung gas from the outside nung sa baso is nag-turn into liquid. So, this one is an example of condensation, gas to liquid. Next is sublimation. Pag sublimation is the change of a solid to gas na hindi siya dadaan ng liquid state. Yung solid, magta-turn agad into gas. So, example natin dito is yung mga naphthalene balls, yung mga makikita nyo sa mga cabinet, yung pangtanggal daw ng ipis, or pangtaboy ng ipis, ganun. Or, pwede din yung ating albatross dun sa CR. So, di ba, maglalagay ng albatross dun sa CR, tapos after a week, 2 weeks, mapapansin mo wala na yung albatross. Kasi nga, nag-evaporate na siya. Or, nag-sublimate na siya. From solid, nag-turn into gas. Then, next one is deposition. Pag sinabi naman natin na deposition, yung gas magta-turn into solid. So, example nito is yung frost or yung snow formation, just like what you see on the figure. So, yung malamig na hangin yung gas is, meron silang interaction with these leaves, and then magpa-formulate siya ng snow. Okay. So, before I end this presentation, so I have here a reminder that you matter. So, everyone has its own role. So, lahat tayo mahalaga. Hindi porkit feeling mo is you are very worthless, feeling mo is wala nang may gusto sa'yo, ibig sabihin nun, wala ka ng kwenta. So, everyone matters, even you. So, yun yung ini-implies ng ating lesson. Lahat ay may kanya-kanyang role na ginagampanan. So, maybe yung sa'yo is you are on a discovery stage. Just enjoy what you are having right now. There are some cases na we feel we feel lost because of the struggles that is happening right now because of this pandemic. But still, you must remember that everyone matters. And then, you need to stay safe. So, in this pandemic, so just a reminder, you need to wash your hands, use your face mask, then distance.